Welcome back to Axis Anime. My name is Henshin Ikeda. Today I'll be doing a walkthrough and review of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, episode 21. Now, if you remember from last episode, we get to see Zeppeli fight Wham, and it's an amazing fight from start to finish. However, the end result being Zeppeli is defeated by Wham. I know, I did not see this coming. However, Zeppeli does manage to steal Wham's ring, which has JoJo's antidote inside of it, and he makes a little bubble and he sends it off to JoJo just before he's defeated. However, it gets worse. The roof collapses on top of Zeppeli, and he is not only defeated, but now he is dead. And I really didn't see this coming. In fact, I was actually kind of crying inside. And I'm like, really? Zeppeli is an amazing character, but sorry, I digress. Moving on past that, we are taken to a different scene with Misan. Now, while Zeppeli was fighting Wham, we get to see Misan in the background. He's on a stone slab. We don't know if he's alive or if he's dead, but Wham did take off one of Misan's arms, just putting that out there. However, we are taken to a different scene toward the end of the episode with Lisa and JoJo. They're finally in the hotel and they're trying to find what appears to be what's left of Zeppeli, and it's not really a pretty sight. Lisa is losing her own composure and she's crying, and it's just ridiculous, where JoJo is going crazy. He actually thinks Zeppeli is kidding, that Zeppeli is still alive, but eventually he figures out Zeppeli is dead. Now, JoJo actually does receive the last gift that Zeppeli leaves him, which is Wham's ring. Now, that's where the episode ends, and all my final thought and rating at the end of the clip, so stay tuned. But let's dive right on in. So we open up this episode with JoJo and Lisa, and again, they're in the hotel and they're following the blood trail that belongs to Wham, trying to hunt him down so they can actually have the revenge, at least for Zeppeli. Just putting that out there. Now, eventually we get to see Lisa, and she's cutting spider webs with her ripple energy. I kind of like it. We get to see more of Lisa using her ripple energy power, and I like it. Now, we are taken to a different scene with JoJo, and he actually is grabbing a weird, shaped doorknob, where apparently Wham is going to be behind it, or at least that's what we presume. But sorry, I digress. Again, JoJo, he's playing around with this doorknob, and he finds out it's kind of creepy, and he hears a voice. And then Lisa actually thinks it's a vampire, which I don't know why she would think this, but again, JoJo reaches for this weird looking doorknob, and he hears a voice. Lisa thinks there's a vampire around or something like that, and then JoJo is randomly attacked. Now, of course, we are taken to a different scene with a new character, and his name is Wired Beck. So we open up this scene with a new character. His name is Wired Beck. Okay, what kind of name is that for a character, for a villain? Wired Beck. Okay, it's different, but okay, who comes up with these names? Can we call him Bob, Allen, Tinkerbell? I don't know, give him a creepy name. Even one that's for a good guy, I don't know. Just put that out there, but sorry, I digress. Again, we open up this scene with a new character. His name is Wired Beck, and apparently Cars made Beck into his minion with the stone mask. So Cars is recruiting more minions? Interesting. I can't wait to see what else he's done with his free time. Now, apparently Beck actually strangled his lover and was on the run, and he is a vampire. Definitely worth mentioning. However, we are taken to a different scene with Lisa, and she's actually taking the lead on this one. I know usually it's JoJo who takes the lead because he's always curious, he always does something stupid, or he runs his mouth with some bullshit story. No, Lisa actually takes the lead, and apparently we're taken to a different scene with Beck, and we actually see him using needles. They pop out of his body, and I definitely thought that was worth mentioning. However, Lisa is now fighting Beck, and apparently Lisa is using her scarf or muffler, if that makes any sense. It's her scarf, and it's full of ripple energy, and she attacks, well, Beck in general with her scarf, and apparently Beck is now defeated by Lisa. Really? It was that simple? What? Lisa is this strong? Hey, I like where it's going. However, we are taken to a different scene. Now, apparently there's a little information that's being thrown right at us. Apparently JoJo has yet to drink the antidote, which was in the ring that Zeppeli gave to JoJo in that little bubble that originally belonged to Wham. Yeah, apparently he hasn't drank the antidote yet. Apparently he's saving it for after when he defeats Wham. So when Wham is defeated, then JoJo will drink the antidote. So there's kind of a lot of meaning behind that, and I'm seeing it, and I like it. JoJo, you're growing up. That's all I gotta say about that. However, we are taken to a different scene with the blood trail that both Lisa and JoJo are following. It belongs to Wham. Apparently it's getting thinner, which means Wham is healing. So that was definitely worth mentioning. And again, a little annoying because, seeing a blood trail on the ground eventually kind of gets old. So we're taking to a different scene with JoJo and Lisa. Apparently they have arrived. They're on the other side of the door, and Lisa notices 2 blood trails. Again, it's kind of like a pitch dark type room, yet Lisa notices 2 different trails. One being Cars, and one being Wham, obviously. Just putting that out there. Of course, no surprise, Cars is in the room. Yeah, so we do see Cars. Now, again, we are taken to a different scene with Lisa, and apparently she can sense other breaths within the room. If that makes any sense, breaths meaning more than one person is breathing. Besides JoJo, Lisa, Cars, and herself, she notices, well, who else is breathing? Because she does sense something. Apparently, Wham appears, and he puts the fireplace on. I'm like, oh, that's perfect entrance, right? So moving on past that, the shit has finally hit the fan. As soon as, Wham puts on the fireplace, we see 100 different vampires on the ceiling. I was like, really? Vampires? Not 1, not 2, not 3. 100 vampires. I just could not believe it. I was like, really? 100 vampires? I thought, I wanted to say 500 because that would have been even cooler, but no, 100 vampires. So apparently Cars has appeared. So Cars is in the same room as Wham with 100 different vampires who are hanging from the ceiling. And Wham actually stops the vampires from attacking JoJo and Lisa because he actually wants to fight JoJo one-on-one. Honorably. Like, wow. That's definitely making another statement. However, we are taken to a different scene with JoJo, and again, he's trying to pull a quick one on both Cars and Wham, and that's really not going anywhere. So Lisa does the same thing. She mentions she has the Redstone of Asia, not with her. She's not stupid enough to bring it with her, but she has a time bomb on the Redstone of Asia in a set location. And it was kind of interesting. I'm like, really? I didn't take you for the crafty kind of girl, Really? That's JoJo's thing to bullshit, not yours, Lisa. But you know what? I like to see it. And then eventually JoJo catches on and he starts to play along with Lisa, and that's kind of, okay, that's noticeable. Now we know it's a bullshit story. If JoJo's gonna start jumping in, that's bullshit. So apparently Lisa has a deal. And all I can say is, for a last minute deal, okay, it's definitely one for the books. Apparently Lisa wants to fight Cars, and she wants to let JoJo fight Wham. And the winner, of course, is going to get the Redstone of Asia. So she's betting the Redstone of Asia. I don't know really how this fight's going to work out, but Lisa versus Cars, and Wham versus JoJo, kind of worth it. However, we are taken to a different scene with Wham, and apparently Wham gets to pick the time and the location of where this little event's going to happen. I'm like, okay, that definitely kind of makes sense since he actually started this to begin with, so I can't wait to see what's going to happen. Apparently he wants to fight in what appears to be a place that's located 10 Roman miles southeast of where they're currently at. Apparently it's going to take place on a stone circle called Lynch's Heel. Definitely worth mentioning. However, JoJo is he's being optimistic about what's really happening, and he's actually being told that Lisa is going to stay behind as insurance while JoJo goes off and gets the Redstone of Asia and has to bring it to the set location. Okay, so that kind of makes sense, but I really don't really give a damn because I was hoping they were just going to fight there, but they're not going to fight. They're going to actually wait and go to this stone circle to fight. Kind of makes sense. So of course we are taken to a different scene with JoJo, and he's actually leaving the hotel with Misan. So Misan appears to be unconscious, but he's alive. But again, he's missing an arm, and again, JoJo is carrying him. Now moving on past that, we see JoJo, and he's actually going through Lisa's crap, like it's in this little suitcase, and he's trying to find the Redstone of Asia, which he does find, and it doesn't have a bomb on it, ironically. Come on, we knew there wasn't going to be a bomb attached to it. That was just a bullshit story to buy time. However, JoJo stumbles across a picture of his grandmother in Lisa's belongings. What is Lisa doing with the picture of JoJo's grandmother? It gets better. JoJo finds another picture, and it's dated May 22nd, 1889, 50 years ago. Apparently in this picture we see Speedwagon, Strats, and Arena, and apparently Strats is holding a little baby girl. What the hell? He doesn't really know what to make of this picture. However, we are taken to a different scene with JoJo later on, and he actually arrives at the set location, which is the stone circle, and he gives the red stone of Asia to Lisa. Now, we don't know if Misan's with him or not. Apparently, he's not. I mean, I don't see him unless you see him. I don't see him. But sorry, I digress. Again, JoJo hands off the red stone of Asia to Lisa, as well as the pictures he's found. And then the truth finally is there. Apparently, Lisa was the baby in the picture. Apparently, Arena saved Lisa when she was a child on the boat. I know, definitely worth mentioning. That was 50 years ago. So that would mean Lisa is 50 years old? Huh, that's interesting. Now, apparently, she also tried to tell JoJo something else that meant something a little more interesting. She mentions, and I quote, "JoJo, we have roots together." I was like, what? Their roots are tied? Well, what does that mean? I'll get to that later on in my final thoughts, trust me. Now, moving on past that, apparently she also tells JoJo Arena basically entrusted Lisa to Strats because, Arena in general was pregnant, so she couldn't really handle this baby girl because she was about to have her son, so just putting that out there. So Strats is taking care of Lisa. I'm like, what? It gets better. Strats teaches Lisa how to use ripple energy and later on gives Lisa the red stone of Asia. And I'm just puzzled, like, what? I thought Strats was, again, the bad guy later on. So this really makes no sense. But before you know it, we see tremors and there's an earthquake. And all I can say is, they have arrived. I'm like, what the hell? I know, there's a tremor, there's an earthquake in the background. And they have arrived. So we're taken to a different scene with the chariot. Yeah, a chariot actually appears. I'm like, oh man, this just gets better and better. Apparently Wham actually calms the horses. He calms down the horses, per se. These are vampire horses. I'm like, what? So chariots with vampire horses. So apparently Wham and JoJo will actually have a chariot battle. I'm like, what? Yeah, to the death. This just gets better and better. Apparently, it's a chariot death match. That's what's actually going to occur. And again, that's where the episode ends. Now, as for my final thoughts, okay, well, first of all, back to this whole thing with Lisa being somewhat having roots to JoJo. Now, if you remember correctly, JoJo's parents were those two kids that were on the boat that, Arena and the original JoJo were on. If I'm correct, that means Arena saved, Lisa, but Lisa is JoJo's mother. If I'm correct, I don't know if I'm, saying the wrong thing here, but if I'm correct, the little girl that Arena saved, which is Lisa, ends up marrying Arena's son, which she was pregnant with. Am I right? Now, I thought we were told earlier on that both, JoJo's parents were killed in the war. I think by a disease or something, if I'm correct. So now I'm very puzzled on who Lisa really is, because she did say she was tied to JoJo. They had roots. That kind of leads me to wonder, now that we know she's about 50 years old, is she JoJo's mother? I'm leaning toward that. And if she is, this is going to be one fucked up next episode. Just putting that out there. Now moving on past that, the chariot death match. Really? This just got from interesting to what the fuck. And with vampire horses, oh wow, that's all I can say. An arena battle, death match on chariots. Love where it's going. And I'll throw in one more final thought. I'm wondering if these pillar men are actually going to be true to what they decided to deal with, if they both lose or if one of them loses, are they really going to give the red stone of Asia up? I don't think so. I'm having second thoughts on how fair this little matchup's going to be. But again, that ends it for my final thoughts. As per my rating, 4 out of 5. Was there fighting? Kind of. It was there to an extent. Was there any old drama and romance? Yeah, there's no romance, but drama? Yeah, between Lisa as well as JoJo, there's drama there. And there's the build-up. Next episode, we're going to see a lot more. And moving on past that information, oh, you bet your sweet ass. Now we know a little more about Lisa, and there are so many questions. Hopefully they're going to be answered soon in the next episode or next episodes to come. But again, final rating 4 to 5. But again, that ends it for my walkthrough and review of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure episode 21. But definitely comment down below, let me know, thumbs up, thumbs down, definitely subscribe, check me out on Twitter, and follow me if you like. But again guys, let me know what you thought of this episode, and let me know what you think's gonna happen in the next episode that's coming out. But again guys, that ends it for now, and I gotta hit the bricks and I gotta go. And before I go, I gotta say it, and I always say it, you can't stop the access, but you can watch the feed. I'll see you later guys.